What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about the brand new weapon that has come out, the free weapon as a matter of fact, that we're getting from the holiday event. And I'm going to quote this. The dev said this new weapon should in fact compete with the meta when it comes down to light, and is not in fact going to just be a silly weapon that you will never ever use and it just sits in your army, aka Spooky Pumpkin, right? So the weapon I'm referring to right now is actually this, the Gold Tail Fox, and we're going to go through it. Now I did get mine to level 100. I am going to push this weapon. I'm going to explain to you guys how I'm going to push this weapon as a free-to-play player. You might want to do the same. We're going to do a little bit of testing on this weapon when I get it up to A5. Right now I don't have any data to give you, but I do want to go through the weapon a little bit with you so you guys understand exactly what it does and how it's going to function and what I plan to pair it with for the future, anything that revolves around light damage. Now a lot of you guys are going to ask, hey Payne, well I already have, let's say, the Guild Spear, right? For example, I actually possess the Guild Spear here, and let's just go to SRs, or to SSR, sorry. Right here, apply. My Guild Spear is actually A8 and I'm almost A9 at this point, right? So I'm going to push it to A10 because, hey, why not have a free A10 weapon? This spear itself does do quite a bit of damage and actually is very cool, and it does increase light damage by 10%. It does have quite a bit going for it in terms of AoE damage and some single target damage, but I do feel very strongly that the Gold Tail Fox will actually outdo it and is a better overall weapon. So let's talk a little bit about some. Sorry, I just threw myself out the window. Let's go over the skills and talk a little bit about it. Okay, so you guys can see here, number one, I've got a 4, 4, and 10 purposely, so when I do my testing, we're ready to go. But the basic preview of this attack here is pretty straightforward. It does a couple thrusts, very similar to exactly what the existing spear does if you compare the two, right? Let's just see the skill here preview. You guys can see it's very close. Almost, actually, as a matter of fact, it's pretty much identical. Now, if you look at this skill, the core damage, right? There's the core there. If you look at this one now, we go to preview skills. It'll probably look pretty similar. See? Pretty similar, right? And now we got the ultimate damage, of course. Now, that is obviously a little bit different. Okay, that's a little bit different. Now, the purpose of this here is deals light damage. It has a much, much bigger percentage than the Guild Spear, right? If you want to compare the Guild Spear, number 677 versus... but this, you can spam. That's the big difference. You can spam this up to 5 times or more on the closest target, while this one is a one-time attack. So keep that in mind. You'll have to times that one by 5 to get to this number. So the other one actually does more damage technically when you do the full 5 hits, all right? Now, let's talk though a little bit about the actual skills. So the difference between this spear and the other spears, the other spear is more selfish. This spear is a lot more... buff oriented for light damage, and this is why this is going to be, in my opinion, once you get it to max out, and how I'll show you guys how I plan to max it out, will probably be a very important one. Now, when the user enters the stage, they gain 9 instances of Foxtail. So the moment you enter, that's what you'll get, okay? When the user uses Prelude, that's the final skill, they gain 1 instance of the Foxtail. If the user successfully uses Evasion in the middle of charging the skill, it activates Extreme Evasion effect for you, allowing you to obviously do Shadow Step, right? Pretty straightforward. So what does Foxtail do? So increases the critical rate and critical damage of light basic skills by 12.25%, stacking up to 1 time. So you can do, for example, I have with SJW, right? I have luckily, I got the legendary Sonic Stream Double Down, which is the light elemental version of this. I only have the heroic version of this, but essentially these two skills are now going to be doing a lot more damage because of this weapon, and the reason why is of course because of what we just showed you guys, right? So let's go back here again, details. So you guys can see here, the critical hit rate and critical hit damage of light basic skills will be 12.25. So you get 9 stacks of this to start. The effect is removed when the user uses a basic light skill. Okay, so you guys can see duration is infinite, stacks up to 9 times. So you can continue stacking this and it will not disappear. Now A1, when Prelude hits, it activates the Golden Wound effect. When the user uses attack the target with the Golden Wound effect, it applies, increases the user's light damage by 99.99%. which is quite a bit actually. When the user attacks a target with the Golden Wound effect applied, the user recovers 9.99% of their HP 1 time. Being hit by a light attack removes this effect. Okay, you guys can see there's a duration of 9.9 seconds. So this is going to be pretty cool to see. Again, I don't have it yet. We'll get there and we'll test it properly when it's time. Increases light damage by 10%. When Extreme Evasion is activated while the user uses Prelude, gain 1 stack of the Foxtail effect. when the user uses Prelude, gains 1 additional stack of the Foxtail effect and a shield now. So now you're giving yourself even more utility and survivability. Of course, decreases the cooldown of Prelude. And then the last one, when the user uses Prelude while there are enemies within a 5-meter range, they rush forward, the user's light damage increased by 20.24%, and their attack increases by 12.25% when they only have light weapons equipped. And this is why I want to have this and the spear together, and this is why I'm pushing the Guild Spear to A10, obviously, so I don't lose any power on it. So Foxtail, again, increases the critical hit rate and critical hit damage by 20.24%, and then versus what it was here, which was 12. So it almost doubles. So this is what makes this weapon so unique and so good, right? And this is what I'm looking forward to getting. Now, how do I plan to get this maxed out? So first, a couple things you're going to want to remember about this as a free-to-play player. Majority of these weapons are going to come from 2 places. Number 1 is going to come from right here, the event, right? Where you're going to have to actually spend your socks here in order to get it. So you get three times of this. So you can get it to A2 with just doing this right here. Okay, so this is the, right here, I'm going to move out of the way. This is the regular one. Now, the other way to get the rest of this is you're going to need these keys. Okay, these keys are going to allow you to push the boss challenge here, and get yourself to the final reward, which gives you 1. But then every 3,500, you're going to have to keep pushing this. So instead of buying everything else in this shop, what I plan to do is I plan to push to get those 2 counts out of the way and then get myself as many 3,500 points as I possibly can. Now, this is going to require various different things in terms of farming. You can either buy gate keys with essence stones, or go to the guild shop and get yourself gate keys there, or get yourself regular keys for the instances or encores, right? And because they drop there as well. So every single time you go in here now, guys, you're going to have to purchase these keys going forward, because they're going to make a massive difference in collecting this. Yes, it's a lot more farming. Yes, it is pretty tedious, but everything here will drop it. So you are going to need to now start spending your guild points a little bit more constructively when it comes down to how are you going to max this weapon out. Now, my goal is to go as far as I can with this weapon, and hopefully it's enough for me to get what I need in terms of completion. So you guys can see here, I'm actually buying keys, right? All of these keys are going to matter. You're going to want to buy this on a daily basis at this point. Anything that's an instance, anything that allows you to get any form of drops, you're going to want to get these things out of the way, right? So you guys can see here, when it comes down to actual crafting purposes, let me go back to my craft, 2 seconds. Where's my crafting? Right here. This SSR weapon here for SJW, where is it? Right there. I've got 7 out of 100. So this will probably take the next month or so to complete the A10. But the other weapon, the one that we are currently trying to get from this event, cannot be crafted. So you have to get it. I want to check one more place though, just to make sure that it is available. And sometimes they do put it available here, and that's the Celebration Coin Shop. And this time they don't seem to have it. So you guys can see it is only through the event, guys. So you're gonna need to start spending some of your either resources on getting more keys, or you're gonna have to max out using your essence stones. One way or another, it's going to have to happen, and it's going to have to happen fairly quickly, because this event is not going to last forever. And I'm personally hoping to push her to the utmost limit, or push this weapon to the utmost limit, to try to max it out and use it on the next WOBL especially, because I think that's going to be very, very important to be able to maneuver around that and have the best light weapons available. Because right now I'm not pulling for the staff. I don't plan to pull the staff. It's too expensive, and I want to save my tickets. I have an A0 staff by accident, but I don't plan to use it, because obviously in order to do endgame content at this point at my level, you need A5 for everything. So I would highly recommend, guys, start buying those keys from every resource possible. Take advantage of them and do them like as soon as you possibly can to continue collecting those socks, and then try to get those 2 weapons out of the way quickly, and then start buying keys and just try to push that 3,500 as much as you possibly can. I think that's going to be the key element here to getting this at least a minimum A5 or further. All right, guys, this is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, once this weapon is done, I promise you I'll do a full comparison on how it does, and hopefully this will give you guys an idea whether it's worth it or not. So I'm going to push right now and try to get as many keys as I can through this, and then again I will get you guys as much content details as I possibly can to complete this for you. All right, folks, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.